2017. I hereby declare this meeting of the Howell Township Zoning Board to be open, adequate notice having been given pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act in the following manner. First, on January 10th, 2017, a copy of said notice was mailed to the Star-Ledger and the Tri-Town News. Second, on January 10th, 2017, a copy of said notice was hand-delivered to the clerk of the Township of Howell. Third, on January 10th, 2017, said notice was posted in the office of the Zoning Board and on the bulletin board in the Howell Township Municipal Building, 4567 Route 9, Howell Township, New Jersey. In accordance with the Fire Prevention Code and your safety, please be advised that this facility is designed with 2 emergency exits, which are on your right at the front and rear of the meeting room. Furthermore, smoking is not permitted in the municipal building. Please take note that this meeting is being videotaped for possible future broadcast on Howell Township TV 77.
Thank you, Eileen. Can we have a roll call?
Yes, you may. Mr. Armada?
Present.
Mr. Cordelicchio? I have not heard from him.
I haven't
Mark
either.
absent. Mr. Mertens?
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Here.
Mr. Posh?
Here.
Mr. San Clemente?
Here.
Mr. Turk?
Here.
Mr. Bloom?
Here.
And Chairman Nansen.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Tropoli, you mind swearing in the professionals, please?
I do.
The records reflect that Mr. Mallon and Mr. Howard have been sworn to the deed.
I told her she didn't need to come. Approval of minutes. Regular meeting, June 12th, 2017. Eligible voters, Carlicchio, Mertens, Paz, San Clemente, Turk, Bloom, Nansen. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Merton,
Second.
second by Mr. San Clemente.
Thank you, Tom.
We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
Mr. Turk?
Yes.
Mr. Bloom?
Yes.
Chairman Nansen.
Yes.
Minutes are approved.
Okay. Vouchers,
No vouchers.
correspondence.
Yes, I have one letter. It is from Peter Dixon, who is with the firm of Potter and Dixon. Mr. Potter is the attorney for the application that was second on the agenda for this evening for the Howell for Open Land and Preservation of the Environment, otherwise known as HOPE. As he discussed with Mr. Tropoli, he actually sent this to Mr. Tropoli. Mr. Potter is very ill and will not be able to attend or appear at the meeting tonight, and he has no other person to substitute for him. So he has asked that we carry this application to the meeting of August 14th with no further notice. So, and he is good past that date, so we're fine.
Okay. Is anyone in the audience for case number BA 17-06, Howell for Open Land and Preservation of the Environment, HOPE, interpretation of zoning ordinance? Seeing none, this case will be carried to August 14th, 2017 with no further notice and will be first case on the agenda, 7:30.
And that's all I have for correspondence. Anything else would have been emailed to the members.
Okay. Resolutions, case number BA 04-20, James Intel, resolution granting a one-year extension of time. Eligible voters, Armada, Carlicchio, Mertens, O'Donnell, Paz, San Clemente, Nansen. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mr. San Clemente.
Second. I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Armada. We have a roll call.
Mr. Armada?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
Chairman Nansen?
Yes.
Resolution's memorialized.
Thank you. Case number BA 16-06, Wildbrook Ranch LLC, resolution granting use variance, preliminary and final major site plan, and ancillary bulk variance. Eligible voters are Mata, Carlicchio, Mertens, O'Donnell, Paz, San Clemente, and Nansen. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell,
A second.
seconded by Mr. San Clemente. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
And Chairman Nansen?
Yes.
Resolution's memorialized.
Applications before the board, case number BA 17-07. William Ransom, pool equipment setback variance. Application William Ransom as applicant and William and Lisa Ransom as owner seeking bulk variance to maintain existing 4-foot by 8-foot area for pool equipment and side yard area on premises known as Block 3, Lot 26.16, 34 Michelle Boulevard. Expiration date, I don't have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's good for a while, though.
November 16th.
Oh,
November
that's- I
16th.
gave- November 16th, 2017.
No, expiration date, November 16th, 2017.
Thank you. That's 'cause
Mr.
he's gonna
Ransom,
go
you
on
want to come forward?
He hadn't paid his-
Please be sworn.
So raise your right hand, please swear the testimony you give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yes, state your name for the record, please.
William Ransom.
Very good. So you can use the podium, or you may have...
You may have a seat if you want. The mic is in the center of the table there.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, you want to kind of explain what's going on and what happened? Give us a background?
Well, the original drawings for the equipment pad, the placement of it was too far back to a fence line for grading purposes. We were told not to grade, I believe it was within 5 feet of the fence line. So with the grading, we would have had to either put the equipment on pilings, or we would have had to grade to the back, and I didn't want to get, knocked down for that. So we rotated the equipment pad from front to back, and to maintain a area, because we have a fence that covers the equipment area so you don't see it, we have a maintaining about 5 foot of grass area, so I didn't want to move it too forward to the patio area, which would have really changed the whole dynamic, and my landscaper couldn't cut back there, and so, feeling that about a 6-foot setback was adequate for drainage and servicing and any repairs.
Were you the one that filed for the pool permit, or was the pool company?
Well, the pool company filed.
Did they do the drawing for this permit?
The engineer.
There was an engineer for the pool company, or
Yes.
your engineer?
No, the engineer, the pool company contracted the engineer, Burdick Engineering, and he did the original drawing. And when we rotated it, it was kind of a last-minute thing where we didn't get time to go back to him for a redraw. And
Now, when were you, scratch that, did the contractor that was installing the pool and the equipment, did he come to you and tell you that it wouldn't work as the plan was?
he did advise me, that of the 10-foot setback again, and I says, well, right now, we've got to get this in because the concrete truck is here and they're going to pour the pad, and we got to set the equipment so we can get, other inspections through, and so I said, well, obviously at this point, we're going to, with known how the setback was, we were going to apply for a variance at that point.
Okay, so you knew at that point. How long ago was the permit pulled for this? Do you know what year?
I believe it was probably around December, the original might have been December of 2015.
15? Okay, that's what's on the plan.
Yes.
When did the concrete get inspected at any time before the equipment went in?
That I'm not sure. At what point the inspections were, when the concrete was poured.
Okay,
I couldn't honestly tell you if it was inspected before or after some equipment went in.
right. But you were, they did notify you that it was in a setback.
My pool contractor did.
Okay. Mr. Mallon?
I mean, as far as questions,
Yes, sir.
I mean, he's 4 foot off. I don't understand. You had a fence that was there to be able to pull off of. You're not even 10 foot off the fence. You know, it says existing vinyl fence on the plan that was done by Mr. Burdick is dated December of 2015. To me, it seems like there was enough room to at least be 10 foot off the line. They created a swale, I see that. But it seems like the contractor you took it upon yourself figuring you were gonna get the variance. I mean, what would your opinion be if the board said, move it to 10 feet? I mean, you'd have to do it.
I would have to do it. I believe to move it further up because of the grading, when the pool was excavated out, within another 2 feet, the grade goes up even higher. So on the far end towards the chain link fence, where the grading drops off another 2 feet, I would have to regrade that area higher, which you're not supposed to grade within 5 feet of the chain link, I'm told. So I don't know how I would do that without creating some type of drainage issue or having to literally build it up on pilings and
What you're saying is, if you had to get over there because of the grading, based upon this drawing, you would have had to encroach and fill into the flood hazard limit line. Is that what you're saying?
yes, sir, yes.
And that's why you did what you did?
That's why I pushed it up as far as I could, given the grading. If I would have pushed it up any further, I would have had to raise the pad up even higher. And
Would have increased the drop-off, I guess?
yeah,
You'll be
yeah,
able-
it would have, yes. And given that we're putting a fence in front of the equipment,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I don't know if the board members see that. There's a
Yes.
4-inch chain link fence in the back,
Yes.
but then you have the flood hazard limit line that cuts across, and I don't even know what it's probably only a foot or two from that fence, right there?
the existing pad right now,
Yeah.
from the chain link fence is about 8 feet. It's approximately 8 feet from the end of the concrete pad to the chain link in the rear.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. By moving it around. Originally, it was only a foot or two.
Yeah, the original drawing was only a foot or two, so it wouldn't have worked with the drop-off is, not being allowed to grade close enough and raise the grade to the fence.
With this in that location, do you create any drainage problems on your neighbor?
No, not at all.
No. Or noise problems?
No, you can't even, I have variable speed pumps, you can't even hear them run.
How high is the equipment?
The highest, the highest would be the pool filter itself.
Well, would it be below the 6-foot stockade or vinyl fence?
Oh, it's below, I have a 4-foot stockade in front of it to block it from my wife's view, of course.
Oh.
So that it's below the 4-foot
Oh, okay, it is.
fence.
Okay, I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? I don't know what the switch. That's the proposed spot, and he moved it closer to
The-
the property line? Is that
The,
what
the,
we're looking at?
yes,
Right,
the
to the fence.
colored one is the existing,
That's what you built, and you were
Yes.
supposed to put it there?
yes.
Okay. And you put it there for grading reasons?
Yeah, the original spot was very close to the chain link fence. And when the pool was excavated and graded,
But it looks like you went closer to the chain link fence.
no, not at all. It's,
So you moved it off the back, the one line,
Right here.
and went closer to the sideline?
yes, sir.
Right. And it went closer to this fence.
And you did that for grading?
Because, yes, because there's no way we would have,
How was it approved to be there if it didn't work?
It wasn't approved. They didn't get a CO.
Wasn't there some kind of plan for a permit?
Right here, this is a plan for the permit.
They changed it without submitting it.
They changed it without
But it was
submitting.
approved over there,
Yes,
so somebody thought it would work over there.
The
yes,
architect.
the architect.
That's what I'm saying, why was it approved over there and it wasn't built that way if it would not work?
I don't know. Yeah,
When was
This
this
over here.
installed?
the
That's what
equipment
we're-
was
That's what I'm saying,
installed,
it's, you know,
I would say roughly April of 2016.
Okay, so what brought you here today to apply for the variance? Did somebody come out there from code enforcement, or did you just apply for it your own?
For inspections, when we were getting the final inspections,
Okay.
engineering came out and said it's only 6 foot off the property line, not 10.
6 foot off the 4-foot fence.
No,
Off
Of
the
the 6 foot
6 foot off the 6 foot vinyl fence on the
That's
side.
what you are now.
here's the
Yes.
property line,
I
right
got
here.
it, I got it. So, that other fence, it looks like it was proposed to be very close to the shorter fence and further off the taller fence.
Yes.
Correct.
But that fence isn't his property line.
No, my
Right,
property
the
line
property goes way back.
The property line goes.
Property goes way back here. So this
But
line,
there's
this fence is
wetland
not the
buffers.
property line.
It's
There,
supposed to
there is
be-
no setback issue on this side.
That fence is probably very close to about 1/3 of your property,
Yeah,
just about?
Yeah,
They're
it's
in the
about-
back,
we
they're
have-
they're tributary to Muddy Ford Brook.
Right.
So they have which is a C1 stream, which means now he's got restrictions on the property of 300 feet.
yeah.
That's
So
the
we
He's
have,
got the flood
we have over
hazard
3
line.
acres
This is
and we
the
can
line.
only use less than an acre.
Right.
So
300-foot
So
buffer.
it had to be inside of that dark line.
No, his property line's way over here.
So what's the dark line?
That's a buffer.
So he had to be inside of it.
Yeah, but there's no setback issues if it was right there.
Mr. Chairman, is my understanding that even though it's 6 foot from the fence line, but it's not, it's more than 10 feet from the property line?
No.
No, it's 6 feet off the property line.
Which is the property line? Is
The
the fence
vinyl
the property
fence.
line?
Yeah,
The
the vinyl fence is the property line.
The
Or
6-foot vinyl fence.
Approximately,
Okay, so it should have been
There
4
you go.
feet more in.
4 feet more,
Right,
that's
If
correct.
you look at the screen, this is an aerial. This is the general location of the equipment. This
Right.
is the side property line.
Right. That's a 6-foot fence.
Yep.
Right.
And then his property continues all the way back here for a considerable different distance, if not to the stream. So the issue isn't the rear property line, it's just the side.
Right. Where it was proposed and approved, it was fine, and he encroached on that side by moving it
Correct.
By
toward the
moving,
side.
correct. So they need a variance for the 4 foot.
I'll leave it up.
How long was the pool there? How long's it been there?
approximately April of 2016.
Has there been any issues on your neighbor's property from drainage issues?
None
from rain?
whatsoever.
Okay.
No, even like this storm from last night, you can't, there's no standing water on our properties at all. It's so sandy, it's like being at the beach. It's
Okay.
crazy. It's hard to grow grass. So it's, we have no drainage issues at all. I don't have a DE filter or anything to backwash anything. I have a cartridge filter, so I take it to the driveway and hose it off. There's no extra water that sits there at all.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Matt, do you have any problems with this at all?
No, I mean, this happens commonly, and this is the remedy, is to either apply for the variance or fix the issue. With things that have been installed over time, we usually take into account or we like to the fact that there's no issues really being created by it. It is just an ordinance violation, it is a permit violation, and this is one of the remedies.
I mean, I don't see any problem with this, Mr. Chairman. Nobody has a problem with it. He's out there by himself. He doesn't have any neighbors around that, no one's here to make any complaints.
Right.
This seems to be pretty simple.
Was there a notice issued to your surrounding neighbors?
A lot of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Number
20,
two, how
23.
far is that pool equipment from your nearest neighbor? Approximately how many feet?
From his house,
Yes.
like 210, 215 feet probably from his house.
150, probably.
Maybe, I don't know.
I just have one question.
Yes.
So, the concrete pad is 6 feet?
Yes.
From,
And what about the equipment?
The equipment,
If you measured the equipment to the property line?
it's a few inches within the
Just a
edge of the
few
concrete pad, yeah. So this was the concrete pad, you have equipment sitting, heaters,
Okay.
pumps, everything's sitting there.
Okay.
So. And it's all, I made the pad large because this is my second pool. My first pool in Howell, my equipment was about 6 inches off the property line. And it was a nightmare to service it and clean it and everything else. So I made sure we spread it out because I'm getting older and it's getting harder to bend over and do things, so.
And you have no problem, I know you said with the landscaper, they have no problem getting around, and you have
No.
no problem? Okay.
No, my next door neighbor is my landscaper,
okay.
so.
I got a question, as far as the backwash and everything, how is the backwash
I
released?
don't have a backwash at all. I have cartridge filters.
Okay,
So you take the cartridges out, bring them into the driveway and hose them down once a year,
okay,
and that's it. There's no
It's
backwashing.
a typical, it's not the same.
okay. Okay, any other questions from the board? Jack, you have any further questions?
No, just so the board understands, we get a lot of these, and sometimes decisions made in the field doesn't hurt anybody, but we have regulations to enforce. We're trying to close out a lot of permits. We have, believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg of all the permits we have to try and close out, where things are made and things done, and, we have some of them could be 6, 7 years old, that we're just trying to close out and catch up even more. So that's why I asked some of the question about drainage and what it was. Of course, one of the key things is the location, the restriction on his property with the flood hazard line and the wetlands line. So he's pushed it to the envelope, and when you get site-specific, not just the drawing, that's when he had the problem with the grading.
Yeah.
And that's why they moved it, and in the middle of construction, they didn't wait, they just went ahead. Okay.
Right.
If I'm incorrect, Mr. Francis, just say so, but,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
And, Mr. Chair, for that
Yes.
matter, I just want to point out, echoing what Jack said, when the board considers granting this is a flexible C variance. This is not a hardship case whatsoever. I just want the board to understand that. If anything, it's a self-created hardship, which has been explained, and I think fairly well by the gentleman, but it's just a regular bulk variance. So the board should not look upon this as, well, it's a hardship because of this, that, and everything
Right.
else. So just keep that in mind when you
Well, just by
engage
him
in
knowing-
deliberations.
By him knowing at the time that they poured the concrete slab, proves it's not a hardship.
Very good.
Because he
Just-
already knew it.
Just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to open to public?
Motion to open.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Armato. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Anyone from the public wish to come forward, questions and comments in this matter? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Armato. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none. Any final comments? Mr. Mallon?
None, pretty straightforward. Doesn't affect any of his neighbors, doesn't affect anything on of any of the regulations other than just the setback that we have.
Yeah, I'd like for the record that, there was no neighbors here to complain.
Well, remember, they're less than 3-acre parcels, so.
Correct. And then this is far enough,
But, he didn't violate any, in fact, what he did was he ended up violating the ordinance. Our setback ordinance versus encroaching into the flood hazard area and the wetlands area.
Correct.
So, and at least he followed those regulations, so.
and plus he's a long way to the
Oh.
nearest neighbor.
Absolutely.
From this equipment. No backwash, so that, there's no runoff going that direction. And so what's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this case. And I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, except I'd like to say to you, tell all your friends and neighbors not to do this, so you don't have to come to the zoning board.
Oh, yeah.
All right? I mean, I know it's a choice that you made, and I feel that you're honest in coming forward and telling it how it is. So my motion is to approve it, the C variance.
I'll second the motion. Haste makes waste and all that, but something, you think about it later. Anyway, it's a small infraction. I go for approval.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, seconded by Mr. Amata. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Mr. Amata?
Yes.
Mr. Mertens?
Yes, I'll approve it.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mr. Posh?
Yes.
Mr. San Clemente?
Yes.
Mr. Turk?
Yes.
And Chairman Nansen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you for your time.
Enjoy your pool.
Have a great night.
Enjoy your pool.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no more variances after they see what we have to go through.
We won't see you again.
They know what we had to do, and it was like, have a great night.
Okay. Any further business of the board?
That's it.
Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a pleasure to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mertens, seconded by Mr. O'Donnell. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none. Board adjourns at 7:59.